The Honourable Annette King.
Mr Speaker, this is a red letter day for Wellington City Council, for Grant Robertson in particular, because over many years there has been dogged determination, eventually desperation, to get this bill before the House and pass. So I want to begin by congratulating a number of people, and I must start with my friend and colleague Grant Robertson, because as he pointed out in his contribution, he started working on this issue many years ago when he was a humble servant of a Member of Parliament, and today he is the member for Wellington Central and the person who's proudly putting through this bill. You see, it is a proud day and a red letter day because we are so blessed here in Wellington to have the town built. There are very few places in the world that has the sort of green space around the city, the horseshoe-shaped green space around the city that we have here in Wellington. Something to be protected, something to care for. And this bill, as has just been said by Scott Simpson, who sat down, is putting in place, hopefully, the next 170 years and beyond. I want to also congratulate Wellington City Council staff and councillors who have worked hard on this bill. I particularly want to thank the Parks and Reserves people. You know, they're the people that keep the town built looking so good, making it open and available. They're unsung heroes of the Wellington City Council, and I want to commend them. And there are two people from my own electorate who are very dear friends and have worked for years to protect the town built, and that's Cynthia Wainwright and Joan Quinn. And I'd like to acknowledge Joan, who's sitting in the gallery today. This will also be a red letter day for the friends of the town built, the people who have kept an eagle eye on whatever happens on that town built, and any encroachment or anything that wasn't appropriate, they certainly made their voices heard. So this is a very special day for Wellington. That town built, it would be repeated many times, has for over 170 years been the reserve that the public has been able to enjoy, and it is a scenic backdrop to this city. Many of us have walked on that town belt. We see cyclists in places, we see kids and dogs, all sorts of activity, outdoor activity. And when people say, you wouldn't live in Wellington, terrible weather, can I tell you, there is so much good weather in Wellington that we get to enjoy the town built. And it has become very much part of how many people live in this electorate. And what I really like about this bill, apart from the protection that it's going to give, is the ability to be able to add to the town belt. Now, that is something the friends of the town belt have wanted for years, to be able to add to it. And this bill allows that to happen so that there can be more green space. And although Watts Peninsula, which is on the Miramar Peninsula, in part of Wellington that used to be called Motu Kairangi, it was an island, and it was called Motu Kairangi. That was now become a peninsula when there was an earthquake and it all joined up. That part of it has an area called Watts Peninsula. It's about 76 hectares, and it's been decided that it'll be a public reserve. I would like to see that added to the town belt. And Mr Speaker, in the short time that I have, I think that the Rongotai and the Wellington electorates are very, very lucky to have this asset, but also to have a member and a council who are prepared to do the work over many years to preserve it. And finally, in response to Scott Simpson about the second tunnel at Mount Vic, something that's felt very strongly about on my side of Wellington, this bill is irrelevant to it because the government can take that part of the town belt they might like for down Ruahine Street under the Public Works Act. What it does do is talk about the sort of compensation, and I hope that compensation ends up as other land that can go into the town belt. So this bill deals with the compensation of taking something like the Ruahine Street land. So this is a very good day, Mr. Speaker, and I congratulate all those involved.